Movement Fabrications, Nottingham's choice for custom signs, designs, repairs, and all things metal. Visit them online at airmovefabs.co.uk or find them on Facebook. Air Movement Fabrications, an official partner with Primetime Racing TV. Custom racing shirts, hero cards, paint schemes, and much more. From local racers to big race teams, we've got your back. Based out of upstate New York, Krutz Custom Graphics is the motorsports design specialist, an official partner with Primetime Racing TV. Welcome race fans back to Primetime Racing TV here tonight with the Dirty Air Studios 200 presented by the Hardline Racing League, the Fast Track Sims Cup Series here tonight from Pocono Raceway. Joining me in the booth as always is Evan Black and Corey Silva. Corey doubling as our tech producer as always here tonight. And yeah, here tonight PTRTV Pocono Raceway, the fast track here. A lot of guys slippy slidey around here. A lot of guys saying that the setup here, Vic Setup League, very difficult tonight.
The tricky triangle in Pennsylvania we're at this week. 3 turns, arguably 6 depending how you want to look at it. The track already difficult in its own set, well, by itself, but let alone having a difficult setup. Should be a challenging race for these drivers.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit in practice, and it looks like it's getting really loose for them. The back end is really wanting to step out.
This is obviously the pre-repaved version of Pocono with the roller coaster-esque bumps in turn 1 and 2. You have the grip strip in turn 3 up top, and then the very tricky tunnel turn. So especially with a loose setup, these drivers are going to have to be on the wheel and with total focus every single lap.
Qualifying currently underway here at Pocono. 4 drivers currently completed a lap. Walker Thomas on top right now.
So yeah, as we follow Shane Tarrant across turn number 3, you could see him running the bottom there. Got a little wiggle through the center of the turn. Let's see what he's able to accomplish at the stripe. Looks like he will get the pole. Well, on the provisional pole, I should say. Cole Begunia, you can see him running the grip strip, we call it, on the top of turn 3. Let's see what he can do here running that different line as he comes to the stripe. In case you're wondering what the grip strip is, back in, I want to say, about the 2009 to 2010 era, they had to repave that top groove in turn number 3, and doing so, actually, since it was fresher pavement, made those drivers decide to run a little bit higher on the track, find a little more grip, and it actually was quite the tactic to be used back in the day, and it is a thing on iRacing, and you will see these drivers venturing up there.
Never knew why that existed. Thanks for letting me know, Corey.
Yeah, I double as a historian. Nick Massey in the number 48 machine. He comes to 3. He chose to run the bottom that time by. Let's see what he can accomplish. Number 48 machine, P3 on lap 1, and he will stay put, P3 for his qualifying time. See, we have Justin Munsell still on track here. I think he just actually completed his run. He was he mustered up a 7th place starting position.
Looks like Cody Tabor and Joel Holloway are the only 2 drivers currently on track.
Looks like about just more than half the field turning a time right now. A lot of these guys saying here tonight that the setup is extremely difficult to drive, and it's going to bring its own set of challenges here tonight. So as qualifying wraps up, we're going to give you your PTRTV starting lineup. On the pole here tonight is going to be the number 38 machine of Shane Tarrant. Then it's going to be Walker Thomas, Nick Massey, Cole Begunia, Thomas Bresci, Chuck Sweeting, Justin Munchell, Robert Kenny, Ryan Hart, and rounding out the top 10 is going to be Joshua Adams.
In the 11th position is Casey Shue with Rusty Capel to his outside. Then we have Tyler Hensley and Nick Olson in row 7, Cody Tabor and Joe Holloway in row 8, and that actually is your field tonight.
16 cars in tonight's Hardline Racing Fast Track Sims Cup Series race tonight. The Dirty Air Studios 200 here on the Hardline Racing League, all live here on PTRTV.
Bring up some track facts here of the Pocono Raceway. As we talked about, 2.5 mile track in Pennsylvania. The 3 turns, arguably 6. I like to call it 6 because it drives like that. Right now, the weather conditions at Pocono tonight for these drivers, standard iRacing conditions, 78 degrees, 104 on the track, and 2-mile-an-hour winds from the north, pretty negligible, so that is the race. It'll be 80 laps around this facility, again, equating to the 200-mile distance.
So 75% fuel, what are we thinking for fuel window?
I'm gonna go with the high 20s. I believe about 26 to 28 laps. That's my guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna say around 25 or so.
And just to bring up the point standings here, don't have a graphic, but we can let you know where everything does stand thus far. Cole Begunia is the championship leader at this point. He has a 10-point lead over Shane Tarrant. Rounding out the top 5 is Thomas Bresci, Briar LaPrade, and Joshua Adams. The 5 of them separated by, I believe that to be 33 points. And right now, your points leader, Cole Begunia, is starting this race from, I already forgot where he was.
Fourth position.
Fourth position. So that's a good starting point for him. But not as good as Shane Tarrant starting on the pole. Over driver radio, as the guys kind of alluded to prior, they are expecting this race to be kind of a driver's race, a race of hopefully not attrition, but almost a race of survival, as no one is seeming to be very comfortable driving these machines tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything very slippy, slidey. The setup itself kind of unpredictable here tonight, and something to keep a close eye out of is guys getting loose and spinning off the exit of the corners.
Tire wear is going to play a major factor into this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys will be trying to keep these machines under control and in their hands, and that'll be the tough part for sure, is tire conservation.
Right now they're coming through the tunnel turn. That is typically a one-groove turn, but it can widen out under the right circumstances, and then we will come through turn 3 here, the very flat track turn, 6 degrees of banking. Remember the grip strip, you'll see drivers using that in the 3rd lane, but you'll see a lot of drivers on the bottom, so we'll see how that fares out as they come and prepare for the green flag to start tonight's festivities. Pace car Sue to take the hard left onto pit lane.
16 race cars ready to go racing here from the Pocono Speedway. Pace car pulls off, green flag in the air.
Pretty good start there for the 18 machine. Walker Thomas on the outside. He was able to, I believe, stay side by side with the pole sitter Shane Tarrant entering turn 1.
Walker Thomas saying side by side. It looks like Shane Tarrant might clear. No, Walker Thomas is fighting back on the outside, coming out of turn number 2.
Shane Tarrant trying driving it in deep at that time, behind and trying to clear, but the outside line able to hold in. They're driving super speedway style here, 2x2x2, headed down into turn number 2.
Walker Thomas with a slight edge for the lead going into turn number 2, but Tarrant has the preferred lane. Looks like Walker Thomas is doing a pretty good job out there in the outside lane. You
can actually hold the outside there in the tunnel turn. If you nail it right, you can get the right arc, and I think 18 did do that. You'll see the line difference here through turns 3 and 4. Thomas using the grip strip, Shane Tarrant right on the rumble strip to the inside. Looks like it's going to give the 18 the advantage off 3 and on the front straightaway.
Coming down to the front straightaway, Shane Tarrant maybe looking to squeeze into that gap there between Walker Thomas and Pocono there. He's able to do so. Now going down into turn number 1, they're going to be single file for the most part. Tarrant drifts up way wide. Pocono is going to take advantage.
Yeah, Shane Tarrant pushed up the track about 2 to 3 lanes there. Thomas also pushed up as well, but Pocono was able to hold the white line there. Almost got a run under the 38, but did not get the run off of turn 1 down the Long Pond straightaway. He'll fall back into line behind the 38.
Walker Thomas out in front of this thing right now. You can kind of see how much these cars are want to slip and slide and push through the corners. Very unpredictable setup that these guys are running here tonight. Battle for the lead once again. The 38 dives to the inside.
Shane Tarrant looking to the inside of Walker Thomas in turn number 3 and just barely there. We'll see if we can get the run out of turn number 4.
Side by side out of turn number 3 down the front straightaway here. They're going to be 2 by 2, I think, behind them. Or they were coming out of the corner, now coming down into turn number 1. Tarrant still on the inside. They're going to push up heavy. 3 wide for the lead, going down to turn number 1.
Cole Pocono on the inside, taking advantage of the 2 drivers drifting up above him. He's going to get side by side. He's going to clear the 38. He's still side by side with Walker Thomas entering the tunnel turn.
Cole Pocono will have the preferred line for the tunnel turn. We'll see if 18 and Walker Thomas can hold on. It looks like he will.
Pocono clips the rumble strip down to the inside. He gets loose. That's going to give the advantage to Walker Thomas going down into turn number 3.
Pocono is going to have to run the inside. That's going to give Thomas the arc. And Pocono tried running.
They made contact.
Pocono tried running the grip strip as well. He pushed Thomas into the wall. Both trying to fight for the same piece of real estate there. Give Cole Pocono the lead. Tarrant to second. And here comes Nick Massey in 3rd.
A little bit of damage to the number 18 machine of Walker Thomas. Now he got made contact with Pocono and up into the wall he went. Looks like he's able to hold a pretty good pace right now though, going down the front straightaway.
Thomas Bressi making a pass underneath Thomas there as he's kind of taking advantage of what happened to the 18. Move Bressi into the top 5, trying to get actually a run on the 26 as well of Chuck Sweeting.
Shane Tarrant looking to the inside of Cole Begunia for the lead. They're going to be even going into turn number 2.
Side by side, going down into turn number 2, give the lead back to Shane Tarrant and the 38 machine, Cole Begunia, and the 7 behind him, and it looks like Nick Maskey and the 48 machine lurking back behind them.
Cole Begunia trying to do a crossover. He's not quite close enough. He's going to back off early to get into turn number 3 and hopefully get a good
Massey
exit.
with the dive to the inside, down to the rumble strip in turn 3, trying to get the run down there, but he's not going to hold the momentum. He's not going to be able to get the run on Begunia, and here comes Chuck Sweeting into the wall off of 3 as he tried to hold the outside and get the run to the outside of Massey, ended up hitting the wall and losing some time.
That was a chain reaction off turn number 3. Begunia got loose. It looked like there was a little bit of a reaction there up into the wall. He went behind him. Shane Tarrant holds a steady lead coming down out of turn number 1. Now pulls away a little bit. Begunia trying to run a little bit higher line.
Begunia got a little bit loose in turn number 1. That cost him a lot of time down the, I guess that's the back straightaway?
The Long Pond straightaway, that's the technical term for it, in between turns 1 and 2 right now. You can see, as you said, Tarrant getting a little bit of an edge, Begunia getting to his own little realm as well, but third place is getting pretty tight right now as the 26 of Sweeting has gotten to Massey's back bumper as we enter turn number 3.
Turn number 3, Begunia running the grip strip, and Shane Tarrant running all the way down low, but don't look now. Here comes, I believe, Thomas Bressy making his way up through the field back there in the 5th or 6th position.
Bressy trying to get around the 26 of Chuck Sweeting. He's not quite close enough here in turn number 1. We'll see if he can get a good run off and make a move down the Long Pond straightaway.
Pass here for position is Joshua Adams, and the 88 has gotten by Justin Munsell. That's a battle for the 7th position, but looks like Munsell tried to make a crossover, did not accomplish that, but back to the front a little bit. Here comes Chuck Sweeting. Took a look to the inside of Bressy there down the straightaway, but wishful thinking at that. Nothing accomplished there, but Thomas back to his bumper.
Sweeting was able to get a run off the corner there, but he did let Thomas Bressy go for the position.
I do want to go back, guys, and just talk about what had happened there with Walker Thomas. Something that you almost kind of see it in dirt track racing, where you have to run different lines. Sometimes you have to guess where your competitors are going to run, and it seemed in that situation that the 18 didn't know where the other driver was going to run, and I'm going to cut myself off. Caution off of turn 2. Maybe not a caution. Rusty Capel got loose off turn 3, spun into pit lane. Looks like everything will be fine. Solo incident. Let's go back on replay and watch it. He just exited 3, got loose there, and locked it down. I think he... Nope, not a lick of damage from that. Good driving by the 42.
Thomas Bressy looking onto the outside, and Nick Massey now for the 3rd position. It looks like he's in a clear, but Massey's going to fight it back.
Massey trying to fight back in turn number 3, not quite close enough. 24 Bressy going to keep the position.
Walker Thomas behind him, running the grip strip up in the higher line. Maybe he'll get the momentum off, but he's got a little bit of a damaged race car, probably struggling a little bit with the handling of that machine.
Sweeting a little bit of wall contact as well there off of turn number 3, and still in the 6th position at this point. But what I was trying to talk about earlier, guys, with that Rusty Capel spin is you almost have to guess which line your competitor is going to run, especially in turn 3. And with that event with Walker Thomas, and I believe that was Shane Tarrant, I think they just kind of guessed wrong. I thought you were going to go low, I thought you were going to go high. They both ended up running the same lane.
Oh, so looks like we have a spin out turn number 1.
Casey Shue in the grass under in turn 1 here. Let's go back on replay and try to see what happened to Casey.
So he just got loose out of turn number 1.
Got high, got into the wall in the center of the turn, and then just got loose on exit, and he just pounded the fence there. Steve Park fashion there almost. Again, 2 incidents thus far, but they were far off of the racing surface, so there was no caution thrown for those. We'll go back to the front, and Tarrant's lead has evaporated as Cole Begunia is right there to the back bumper. You can see the 38, massive wiggle off turn 1 there. Good driving to hold on to it, but he is clearly fighting that car.
Yeah,
Begunia just did the same thing.
Yeah, Tarrant got really loose, but he really didn't lose any time.
Yeah, Makeeng did the same thing as soon as Terran got loose. The back end of Makeeng's car stepped down as well, and maybe a little bit of time lost on Terran's part. Makeeng was able to gather his car back a little bit quicker. Now going down into turn number 3, you see they're both trying to run the grip strip. Terran maybe trying to get a little bit more of a run off the corner.
You can see here we're on board of the 38. You can see Absar at the wheel there, keeping control of that thing. It is sometimes a challenge running the grip strip because you have that grip. And then you
get a car around 3, caution this out.
Chuck Sweeting, hard contact on the inside wall here, down the front straightaway, right near the start-finish line. My, oh my.
He's running the grip strip here in turn 3, and just kind of went out a little wide, hit the wall, but when he did hit the wall, he just lost it, and then huge impact into the inside wall there on the front straightaway. First caution of the race.
Chuck Sweeting has gone behind the wall. He is done for the night.
Heavy contact at the inside wall goes Chuck Sweeting. That'll stack the field back up under the yellow flag here. Your leader, still Shane Terran.
Seems every time I try to get a talking point, and we end up having a yellow right there. But what happened was, what I was going to say actually was what caused that caution. When you run the grip strip there, you're used to a certain amount of grip, and then you go off onto the older pavement, which has less grip, and that is a transition. You do feel that in the car. It is a little bit off-putting, and it can cause situations like that. Almost like a Martinsville, if you will, when you're running on the concrete and then you go back to the regular asphalt. It is a surface transition. You do feel it. It can kind of throw you off behind the wheel. You have to be ready for it.
And very difficult racetrack here tonight, it seems. A lot of guys, as we've seen, the leader struggling with the handling of their race car. Remember, folks, this is a fixed setup league, and for those of you who don't know what fixed setup is, everybody's running the same equipment here tonight. So whatever one driver struggles with, chances are another driver will struggle with it too. You gotta adjust your driving style to the setup with these, but it seems like everyone having the same issues all around.
Yep, as you said, the same conditions are in the same chassis for everybody, but it is, especially with the new iRacing update we had a couple weeks ago, especially the tires are very individualized. How you are driving that car will control the tires you have on and the handling that will come with that. So some drivers, different styles, maybe overdriving it, they might be making their problems already even worse. I would expect the majority of the field to head down pit lane as we come off of the final turn, and just as expected, here they come.
Yeah, these drivers are looking forward to getting some fresh tires on.
Looking to see how some of these pit stops go right now. Shane Terran will be the first one to, one of the first leaders to get to his pit stall. They're into the number 1 stall.
And he overshot it.
That could maybe give the lead to Cole Makeeng. We'll have to see the race off pit road. Makeeng fires up. Believe he may have gotten the lead from Terran.
If he didn't speed, he got the position.
They were 3 and 4 wide coming off pit road behind them. The race off pit road for the first round of pit stops, very intense here.
Say Terran actually had about a 8/10 of a second faster stop. Excuse me, Makeeng had an 8/10 faster stop than Terran there, so that would explain the difference in the change of position up front. Cody Tabor did actually stay out. He is behind the pace car right now. I don't know if it's for a point, a bonus point perhaps, but regardless, the 51 temporarily at least is leading the race.
So while we are under this yellow flag, obviously, you know, we've got our sponsors and everything else helping us out on this channel, but I would like to bring up our Patreon. You know, in order to keep our broadcast quality high, and the price is low for the league owners, we may need a little bit of help from the fans. If you guys donate to our Patreon, patreon.com/PTRTV, we will have rewards involved. You know, it would help a lot, even $1 or $2, and you know, the rewards are varied depending on how much you donate to our channel, and there will be rewards, so keep an eye out for that. And if you donate $25 or more, you will get a free paint scheme every month from Krutz Custom Graphics.
That in and of itself is pretty much worth the price of admission, because we do know what some different companies do charge for that, so that in itself is a great deal. We do plan on doing some special events in the future. You will have your name listed on each broadcast at some various points in the race. So again, every dollar counts. Every little bit does help. We want to keep everything affordable. Everyone knows that the broadcasting realm does have a very large variance in cost. We want to keep everyone having the equal opportunity to get covered, so every little bit helps. I believe we should get one to go. We had the leader's pit, we had the lap down pit, so this should be one to go, I do believe.
Should be.
So after seeing the first part of this race and how close everyone was together for the first few laps of this thing, what do you guys expect to see during this next round?
Was actually not so much surprised, but they were doing a pretty good job up front, keeping pretty tight battle, having some good side-by-side racing and lead changes and such, so I do expect more of that to carry on.
Yeah, it should be some really good racing, like we saw in that first 10 laps.
So, lights on top of the iRacing.com Ford Mustang pace car extinguish, and these guys will get stacked up, doubled up, ready for the restarts once again here from the Pocono Raceway. The Dirty Air Studios 200 here on PTRTV, the Hardline Racing League Fast Track Sims Cup Series here tonight, and these guys, as we know, always put on a good show.
A lot of good racing, a lot of good parity in the league. We see a lot of different drivers win, different drivers up front. Always a good show on Friday nights and Wednesday nights for that matter as well. Right now, Pocono, who is the points leader, he is leading the race at present. He has his nearest championship competitor, Shane Tarrant, to his outside. Thomas Bresci, the road course master who won Sonoma in the Cup Series and I always want to say Atlanta. Road America Wednesday night in the Contender Series in the 3rd position.
And some people call this the road course of ovals, so we know what Thomas Bresci can do on the road courses. Can he show these guys up here tonight at Pocono?
Yeah, I've seen quite a few drivers shifting in pretty much all the corners.
Something we'll try to follow on once we get some time later in the run, but right now we wait for the pace car to take the left turn into pit road, and as soon as that pace car does go into pit lane, we always get the green flag at Pocono. There's no delay period here. So here we go, waiting for it. There goes the pace car, and green flag in the air. Pocono will get this race underway yet again.
Pocono got a really good restart. He's going to clear Taryn. It looks like the three of, I'm not sure who that is, Ryan Hart is going to look to the outside of Taryn.
Taryn didn't get the best restarts that time by Pocono. Gonna power down to the bottom of turn number 1 here, and they're 3, 4, maybe even 5 wide behind them.
Hart's got a good run entering 1, but he held way too much momentum there. Got way up the track, but a little bit behind this. We have 3 wide right now. We have the 88, the 22, and the 66. Josh Adams backs off on the inside. Still side by side with Holloway and, who is that? Justin Munsell right now through the tunnel turn.
They're going to be 2 by 2 by 2. Loose, the 22 gets off of turn number 2. Now heading down into turn number 3. They're going to be 3 wide once again.
3 wide into turn number 3, 2 wide now. 66 of Joel Holloway falling back. 22. It looks like he's going to get the run out turn number 3.
Mitchell running that grip strip down there off of turn number 3. He gets a great run down the front straightaway. They're going to be 2 by 2 by 2 behind them now.
Josh Adams in the 88 to the inside clears the number 66 of Joel Holloway. That was a battle that is now over for the 6th position right now.
We've got a little bit of a battle for the lead, or there was. Taryn got a little bit loose off of turn number 1. Now heading down into turn number 2. Let's see how far Taryn is willing to drive it in.
The tunnel turn is a turn that you want to go slow. You want to back up and get a better run off there. I don't think Taryn did that time by. Give the edge to Begunia off the tunnel turn. Let's see where they run in turn 3.
Taryn driving in a little bit deeper, gaining on entry. He'll probably lose a little bit on exit. We'll see.
The most important turn here on Pocono Raceway is turn 3. It sets you up for what is the longest straightaway in NASCAR competition. Almost 3/4 of a mile this front straightaway is. You need every last bit of run off of turn 3 to carry you down this long straightaway.
Long enough to be an NHRA drag strip, that straightaway is. And yeah, Begunia lost a little bit of his lead down the front straightaway, but seems to be better through turns 1 and 1 and 2 here. But don't look, now Thomas Bressy lurking in the background of that 24 machine.
Yeah, Bressy might be back there, just maybe saving his tires a little bit, letting Taryn and Begunia battle it out.
Between the interval between Bressy and Taryn, 2nd and 3rd that time by. Bressy was about a 1/10 and a half faster than Taryn, so that 24 is on a mission.
Begunia holding a solid lead out here now. Top 3 kind of breaking away here. But we've got a battle between the 88 and the 22 now off of turn number 3.
Munsell on the outside, Adams to the inside off of turn 3, give the edge to the 22, at least at present at the line. Adams trying to get to the left rear quarter panel of the 22, get that side draft so he could have a run in turn number 1. Looks like he will do so and be side by side.
88 driving in real deep into turn number 1 to try and get underneath the 22 of Munsell. It looks like he might clear him after number 1.
Munsell trying to run the Larson line here at Pocono, not the suggested a tactic here. Oh, someone got loose there a little bit further back. Who was that? That was the number, I believe that was the 10 of Robert Ketty. Really loose off of turn 2 there. Good save on his part. But we go back to that battle that was between the 22 and the 88. Still tight, and Tyler Hensley in the 5 lurking behind this, trying to see what he could do. The 22 really dives it to the bottom there. Not low enough to hit the bottom, but he could run the grip strip because Adams was running it. Adams will get the run off of 3 and maintain the position.
A lot of guys getting really loose off of turn number 3 there, and we've seen that play into effect many of times tonight. The 22 machine still right onto the back bumper. The 88, however, going down into turn number 1.
Munsell trying to take a look to the outside there, see if maybe he can get a crossover off turn 1. That is exactly what he did try to do. He got a pretty good amount of momentum right to the back bumper, bump drafting him down the long pond straightaway.
Down into turn number 2 now. It looks like 22 machine right in the tire tracks of the 88 machine now. Almost into the wall. It was a 3 machine. I believe that's the 3 machine up there.
Almost a battle going on here between the 66 of Holloway and the 18 of Walker Thomas. This is for the 8th and the 9th position. They were side by side for a moment. Thomas lost a little bit of their momentum in the 66 into the wall, as well as Nick Massey hard into the wall down off of turn 3.
Nick Massey gonna lose a little bit of ground from that one. He recovers. I don't believe there's a lot of damage to that race car. I don't see a lot of cosmetic damage to that race car. He should be okay.
Yeah, just lost a lot of momentum.
Back to the front right now. Terrence gained some of that time that he did lose here, less than 0.2 of a second off of the bumper of Begunia here. Bressy is gaining ever so slowly here to this battle. Let's focus on P1, 2, and 3.
Shane Taryn getting a pretty good run out turn number 2. See what he can do in turn number 3.
You can see he's running a lane lower than Begunia, not in the grip strip. He's trying to run the bottom, maybe get that straight run off of 3, trying to maintain his momentum. Got a little bit loose there, but actually did hold a pretty good run.
Yeah, he's been doing it the last few laps, and he's been getting pretty equal results each time, and it's working pretty well for him.
Taryn moving right up to the back bumper of the 7 machine. Begunia goes up high, gets loose. They're going to be side by side off of turn number 1.
Begunia getting real loose out of turn number 1 down the long con straightaway. 38 Taryn has the advantage, but the 7 Begunia is trying to fight back. Looks like he's going to let him go.
Begunia got really loose onto the entrance of turn number 1 there. That made him lose the lead. He had to catch that race car. Taryn walking way out front now.
7 looks like he is just trying to hold on to that machine right now. He just drove into turn 1, slid way up to the track, 3 or 4 grooves up. That allowed Taryn to get the run and to clear. You can see Taryn still preferring to run the bottom in turn 3. One of the few still choosing to do so.
Taryn may have lost a little bit of momentum there on the bottom of the corner. He got pretty loose through center, but it looks like he got a really good run off, walking way down the straightaway.
And also, guys, I did want to note the stage did end on that lap, so I believe it should have been Shane Taryn getting the stage. The stage ended at lap 20. So, given on which lap it did officially end, we'll have to see, because the battle did happen right at the stage.
Confirmation that Cole Begunia got the stage win.
Well, a lap too late on Taryn's move. Remember, the last 2 races we brought to you for the Hardline League were on road courses, and of such they decided to throw a caution out for the stage. But now that we're back on an oval, normal rules apply. The stage points have been assessed, but the race continues under green.
And this has been pretty good racing so far, guys. I must say that these guys able to stay pretty close together, pretty tight together, and not letting each other slip away too far.
See the top 3 right now, they're pretty much within a second of each other. It's a pretty good ways back to Ryan Hart's, the 3 machine. He is 3 seconds off the lead here in the number 3. I believe that is to be a Pepsi Chevy SS. And Josh Adams a little bit behind him, still battling pretty tight with the number 5 of Tyler Hensley.
Tyler Hensley right to the back bumper of the 22 machine coming down into turn number 2. Looks like the 22 machine is going to get the momentum off. Hensley not letting him go anywhere though down into turn number 3. Let's see what the lines they run here. Hensley running a little bit of a lower line, and this gives you a good perspective on the different lines here. Hensley knows that it was working for the 38 machine. Maybe he wanted to try it out a little bit.
88 ran the bottom there, got pretty loose there on the exit of the turn. Doing that did allow the 22 to get a better run down the straightaway. Not enough to make a move, but did gain some time on him as we enter turn number 1.
88 Adams getting pretty high in turn number 1. 22 Justin Munsell trying to get to the inside of him, and it looks like he will.
Can he hold the momentum off of turn number 1? He cannot do so. Adams will hold the right rear quarter panel. Nope, he will back off and relinquish the position to the 22.
Still right onto the back bumper of the 22 machine he is, and I don't think these guys are going to try to fight too hard here, because we've still got the concern of tires, guys, and that'll play big here, especially with how loose a lot of these guys are getting on exit.
Everybody is about 12 to 13 laps into their run since the last caution flag. We predict about 25 or so laps. Should be the fuel load. We'll see if the drivers decide to run the fuel load dry or pit early for tires. I have to imagine you're going to have to run the fuel load dry here, being as long as this track is, but we'll see what they do choose to do. But back up front, Begunia is not going anywhere off the bumper of Shane Taryn. He is still holding about a quarter of a second back.
Yeah, Shane Taryn got really loose out of turn number 1. That gave a little bit of momentum to the 7 Cole Begunia.
Entering turn number 2 right now. You see Begunia running a little bit lower. Taryn got that higher line. Let's see which one does prevail off of 2. Looks like they did maintain position there equally. We'll see where they decide to go in turn number 3.
Both running this exact same line, turn number 3, the grip strip. That's where most of the grip is at. Looks like Taryn's getting a little bit loose on corner exit.
Whoa!
Begunia got real loose. It's a big slide. He manages to save it. That's going to leave the door open for Thomas Bressie. Bressie backs off. I think he got loose too. Big big slide for Cole Magunia. He gathers it back together now going into turn number 1. He's got a lot of ground to make up on your leader, the 38 machine.
Remember what I talked about, guys, with the grip strip there, you have a lot more grip when you're on it, but when you transition back to the older pavement, it is a drastic transition in the feeling of the car, and especially on these older tires, you really have to watch out for it.
Cole Magunia did do a really nice job hanging on to that race car.
How did he save that car?
He's just that daggone good.
That's why he's the points leader. So in that exchange, he lost a second. Well, actually lost about 3/4 of a second. He was only about 0.2 back. Now he is a little bit over a second, and Thomas Bressi is right within striking distance of him. Looks like Taryn may have graced the wall there off of turn number 3, but didn't lose any momentum in the process.
The 22 machine takes a huge slide there now back behind them. He may lose a position to the 3 car. They're going to be right bumper to bumper now. And another amazing save by one of these drivers. How long will it be till one of them actually spins and possibly hits that inside wall?
We just watched that on replay there. That was essentially a carbon copy of what Begunia did, as Justin Munsell did. Good save on his part. He'll now have to deal with Ryan Hartz in the number 3, who's gotten right to his back bumper. Hartz with the tighter line there, drove it in a little bit deeper into turn number 2, didn't get the run off. That'll let Munsell pull out about 2 or 3 car lengths as we enter turn number 3. He looks like that battle has ceased itself. But a battle that has started to heat up is the battle for second here. Bressi has gained all the time that he needed to and is right there, about 2-3 tenths off of Begunia. Begunia's going to have to look at his mirror and not make any mistakes because there's a Hungry 24 behind him. Hungry.
A Tungy, then a Hungy, and
yeah, I don't know. Words are really hard for me today. Apologize, guys.
Bressi takes the higher line down into turn number 1. Begunia going to take the lower line. Bressi gets now loose off of turn number 1. Doesn't really kill his momentum much, but he did overdrive the corner just a tad bit. That's going to leave the advantage to the 7 machine.
The good thing is when you get loose, the guy in front of you or behind you is probably getting loose too, so you're not going to lose much momentum.
Yeah, absolutely, and looks like Bressi may have missed the grip strip that time by. He's going to lose a little bit more momentum.
Yeah, not what he wanted right there, but he will fall back. Lost all that momentum he did gain right now, so just has to regroup and see what he can do here, or just kind of wait till pit stops and just hang on to the thing.
Pit stops should be coming up fairly quickly, right here around between 7 and 10 laps, I would think.
Yeah, remember our estimate is about 25 to 28 laps. We're running 75% fuel, and I do know from experience Pocono is about 35 to 40 laps, so take a segment off that. It should be about in the high 20s, I assume. So we're going to step away for a quick side-by-side commercial break. You can see the action in the corner of your screen. We'll be back for pit stop. So again, stay with us here on Prime Time for the Dirty Air Studios 200.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
And we're back here on PTRTV. We've got the first set of green flag stops coming in. Shane Tarrant, the leader, has chosen to come to pit road here on lap number 33. And we'll see if everybody else follows him.
24, Thomas Bressie did come down pit road with him. They're the only two to come down.
Yeah, Cole Beguniu is still out on track right now. We'll look for him to maybe come by this time by.
He's not going to want to stay out too much longer. Right now, last time by, he was about 2.5 seconds off his best lap of the race, so a lot of time lost if he does stay out on these older tires, unless he may have some kind of long-term fuel strategy in his mind.
Yeah, only 33 laps complete, so that's only about a 20-lap run.
But here comes Beguniu off of turn 3, takes the hard left turn. Munsell behind him also chooses the same tactic. Looks like Walker Thomas will stay out another time by.
Joshua Adams coming down the pit road as well.
Also Joel Holloway on pit road, but as we said, this will give the lead at the moment at least to Walker Thomas in the 18. Remember, he had some early contact with, I believe it was Shane Tarrant there in turn 3, but looks like his car is pretty well repaired as he trots on here. He should be pitting any time now because he's losing a ton of time on these old tires. Also, Nick Massey has stayed out as well, and Ryan Hart. So the top 5 right now all have stayed out, have yet to pit. Tyler Hensley to pit road here. He will erase one of those. He will erase his name off that list. Only 4 drivers have yet to pit.
I believe. Well, let's see. Tarrant coming across the line now.
Cole Beguniu.
Trying to figure out who the leader is going to be. I believe it will be Shane Tarrant.
By about
with 3.8 seconds.
Yes. And Thomas Bressie right behind Beguniu may be willing to put up a challenge for him.
Yeah, Bressie only about 3/4 of a second off of Beguniu. Remember, he was closing on Beguniu on that last run until he got a little bit loose. I believe it was in turn 3, if I remember properly. So he'll take another stab at the second position.
So unless we get a yellow flag, I believe Tarrant is in pretty good shape for this thing.
But Walker Thomas staying out another time by, and I mean, let's just try to extrapolate this out a little bit. If he stays out another 7 laps, that would be about a 28-lap run, and that would put us on lap 40, and then 40, 66. I think it's still, I don't really think you can really save a pit stop at all, so pretty sure everyone's gonna have to pit the same amount of time. It's just a matter of what lap. So I don't know if he's gaining anything by stretching this out, but I guess we'll have to find out. Pocono is one of those tracks that you can usually pit and not lose a lap because of how long the laps are and how short and fast the pit road is here. Nobody who did pit is actually off of the lead lap right now.
I'm looking at Shane Taryn, who should eventually be your leader, and he's been getting super loose on exit of these corners here. I gotta wonder in the long run how that'll affect his tires.
Yeah, I think the track is starting to maybe rubber in just a little bit and lose some grip, so I wonder if that's affecting his rear traction level.
And it looks like Bresci has lost some time off of Begunia. He's now 1.2 seconds back. Last time by, give the edge to Begunia by about 4/10 over Bresci. Bring up our position change graphic right now. Biggest gainer of the race is Ryan Hartz. He's up 6 spots now, but remember, he is due for a pit stop. And then you can see this time what the difference in lap speeds are. Last time by, the 18 ran a 58.26. First driver on fresh tires being Shane Taryn in 5th was 2.1 seconds faster.
Ryan Hartz comes down pit road. And he really slides through his pit stall.
Yeah, he lost about 5 or 6 seconds just backing up into position there.
He backed up, and he backed up too far and had to pull forward again.
That's gotta be really frustrating.
Walker, Massey, and Kenny are still out there. They have yet to pit. They're about on their 25th lap. It looks like Thomas probably is pitting this time by. He's running a really low line off of 3, and he will become...
Walker Thomas coming to pit road. That will be around 25 laps.
So Nick Massey going to become your new leader here.
First lap led for Massey, so give him that bonus point. I don't know if that's what he was going for, but regardless of that, he at least achieved it, so...
Nick Massey does have a little bit of damage up against the right side of his vehicle. They believe we saw his incident earlier.
Yeah, Massey did have some wall contact. I think almost everybody has had some kind of wall contact, at least off of 1 or 2, or especially off of 3. So, I mean, really go. Off all the turns, everyone's hit the wall. Turn 3 has been pretty much calamity corner. It seemed a lot of drivers just absolutely get 45 degrees sideways there and managed to save it. But here comes Massey on the pit lane. The only driver left would be Robert Kenny in the 10. Kenny coming off turn 3, and he will take it to pit lane, so that will give Shane Taryn the lead as he comes off of 3.
I'm curious to watch if staying out for that long might save these guys in the long run here.
Everyone is still going to have to pit one more time. It's just going to be a matter of when do you pit and how fresh are your tires when you do so. So I don't off the top of my head see what they were going for, unless it was a caution, but regardless of such, right now Taryn is enjoying a 3.2 second lead.
Begunia is closing in just a little bit. I don't know if Taryn's just trying to save his tires or what he's trying to do.
Yeah, it's a tough call. I think Taryn may have gotten, loose enough times at the beginning of this thing as Ryan Hartz calls it quits for the night, as well as Rusty Cable.
Just might as well probably be as better of a time as any to do a through the field right now, as we just surpassed the halfway point in the race. Right now, Shane Taryn's your leader. He's led half the race, 20 of the 40 laps in the books thus far. Cole Begunia, the points leader, in 2nd. Thomas Bresci in 3rd. Justin Munsell running in 4th. Josh Adams running in 5th. We have Walker Thomas 6th, Tyler Hensley 7th, Nick Massey in 8th, Nick Olson, haven't talked about him really today, in 9th, and then Joel Holloway in 10th, and then only other driver on the track is Robert Kenny in 11th, Cody Tabor in the pits.
So, Shane Tarrant got a pretty good lead over the field right now. Unless the caution were to come out, it does look pretty good for him. It looks like there's only about there was only about the top 4 on the straightaway at once, and 5th place way far back. And I do believe that we only have about 11 cars left in this field right now.
Yep, drivers who are out of the race right now. We have Ryan Hartz in 12th. Tabor is in 13th, not officially retired, but not on track. Rusty Capel in 14th. Chuck Sweeting in 15th, and rounding out the field tonight, Casey Shue in the 16th position.
I think Cody Tabor will probably try to get back out there and run a few more laps and may gain that position of Ryan Hartz.
Right now, Tabor is 10 laps down right now. If he can complete 7, well, actually, no, he only needs to gain 3 more laps, and he can gain a spot on the board.
Very tricky track here tonight. We've seen a lot of drivers struggling all throughout this race. Even, you know, the leaders are no exception. Even running by themselves, I've seen Taryn get really loose on exit. I've seen Cole Begunia about put himself up on the wall on entrance at the corners trying to save his race car.
Yeah, as it's been said in various forms from the drivers, they are not happy with the fixed setups under these vehicles tonight, but everyone has to deal with it, and right now the 38 is doing the best job of that. Still holding at the same, approximately the same lead, about a 3-second lead over Begunia. Bresci has fallen 2.5 seconds off of Begunia. He was gaining on him for a while. We'll go back 3.5 seconds to Justin Munsell here in 4th. We'll go ways back 8.3 seconds back to Josh Adams in 5th. And behind Adams is another 4.6 seconds to Walker Thomas. About another 3 seconds back to Massey. And really the closest battle on track is them two was that Hensley is only a second behind that. We'll go back another 11 seconds back to Holloway, who has a battle in close form with the 10 of Robert Kenny. Yeah,
Robert Kenny was about 0.6 of a second quicker than Joe Holloway that lap.
Kenny has 6-lap fresher tires. Holloway I believe was one of the first to pit, and that is affecting his lap time. So I do expect Kenny to be able to get that position in a matter of laps. But this is the last broadcast for, I believe it to be 2 weeks for the Cup Series. You will not see another race on Friday night on Primetime TV for the Hardline guys till December 29th, taking a couple weeks off for the holidays. We will be at Kansas Speedway on December 29th for 150 laps, followed by Michigan and Martinsville. Martinsville actually is the last race in the regular season.
So a couple short tracks for the Cup Series and Contender Series for the last race of the regular season.
Well, a couple, as in one.
Isn't Myrtle Beach the last one?
Oh, that is that's the Contender Series.
Yeah, I said for the Contender Series.
Oh, okay. Carry on. I take back my sass. But then in the round of 12 is actually started on a road course, Watkins Glen International, January 19th, and then we have Dover and Charlotte rounding out the round of 12 drivers. The next round of the playoffs goes to 8, which would be Kentucky, Chicago, and Richmond. And then Per tradition, we will round out with a round of 4, a single winner take all at Homestead at the beginning of March. All will be brought to you live here on PTRTV. We will take this opportunity to step away yet again for another side-by-side break. We'll pop back if anything happens, but stay with us. Be back with you shortly for more coverage.
I grew up in Northern California. My parents were just really big race fans and took my sister and I to sprint car races pretty much every Friday and Saturday night. So I did outlaw kart racing from 7 till I was 14. And then that's when I got into 360 and 410 wing sprint cars. There's just something about dirt racing that's just, you can't get anywhere else. I enjoy going back to race them whenever I can. I get to run about 20 to 25 dirt races a year and try and put on a show every time I'm there.
Battle for the lead. Kyle Larson to the inside of Shane Stewart. Slide job, no. Larson unable to complete the pass. He'll follow Shane Stewart down the back straightaway. Stewart makes the move to the inside of Craig Kinster. Kyle Larson goes around the outside out of turn 4. You've got a new race leader. Kyle Larson from 9th leads on lap number 23.
I'm probably just a little more relaxed, I guess, at the dirt track just because it's for fun, where the NASCAR stuff, it's points racing and a lot bigger sponsors and stuff you have to please and all that. You're there for 3 days a week, so your approach is a little bit different there, where sprint cars you're there for 5 or 6 hours and moving on to the next racetrack. So I've been on iRacing, I think, since 2009 or 10. Yeah, I remember, starting out, as a rookie on there, in the legends and the late models and stuff like that. And that was fun to, have to try and get your licenses up and stuff. But it's amazing to me how, now that I get to race on a lot of the tracks that are on there, how to the T, similar because of the laser scanning and stuff like that. So all the bumps and all the visual aspects of it are very good. So when I first got to like K&N and then the Nationwide Series at the time, I would race iRacing all the time to learn as much as I could about the racetrack before I went to the actual racetrack to race. So to me, it's just for fun now. So I enjoy going on there. Actually, I don't enjoy going on there all the time because I don't win a lot. So it's frustrating to see myself struggle to run top 10 in an Xfinity race or something like that and get beat by Logan Seavey every time I run a sprint car. So the level of competition on iRacing is better than real life. You've got thousands of drivers on there that, a lot of them are probably better than the people you see on TV. They just haven't had the opportunities to make it, but can kick butt on there and you can spend all day long running thousands of laps a day, so you can get yourself, really good at it. So competition level is just unbelievable, really, on there. Everybody's been asking for dirt on there for forever. So when they announced it, I got really, really excited. And honestly, it's blown my expectations away. The cars, to me, drive really good when the track's hooked up. The visual part of the racetrack changing is amazing. How you can run some laps and see it start to get shiny, and then you feel it getting slick. Areas of the racetrack getting dirty, and then you get some cars run through there and it cleans off and gets grip back. It's nuts. The tear-off feature is really cool. Watching the wing move backwards and forwards. I run with the virtual reality headset too, so being able to like look down and see everything, it looks extremely realistic. So yeah, it blew my expectations away. And it's only gonna get better, really.
Welcome back here, folks. The Pocono Raceway, the Dirty Air Studios 200, presented by the Hardline Racing League Fast Track Sims Cup Series here. A little bit of a battle starting to wind up here, possibly between Begunia and Bressi. Begunia gets loose, really loose there onto the entry of turn 2. Thomas Bressi fighting to get to his back bumper.
Begunia's been getting really loose in turn number 2. That's the main spot where he's getting loose, so we'll see if Bressi can do anything with him.
They're both running the grip strip here in turn number 3, trying to get that momentum off of the exit. You could see Begunia getting a little bit squirrely as he exited the turn here, but I think Bressi got very close to the wall. There was no real exchange of interval there. Last time by, Begunia was actually about half a tenth faster indeed than Bressi, so. This is the closest battle on the track. You can see Bressi here, he was bobbing and weaving there through the entire exit of turn 1, but he actually gained time doing so.
Bressi got really loose out of turn number 1, but that helped him down the long pylon straightaway. It's been right on the back bumper in turn number 2 and out of it.
Turn number 2, oh, Bressi!
Loose. They both get loose off the corner, my oh my! Thomas Bressi's gonna go side by side, Begunia gonna let him go.
Can Bressi hold the line? He drove it in really deep there, slid up the track to his preferred groove on the strip. Here comes Bressi getting sideways, slideways off of turn number 3. He's going to let Begunia get to the top. Not quite.
Begunia looking to the top, not quite a groove open there. Looks like he's going to bump draft him maybe a little bit down the straightaway, backing off now.
They both run wide. Begunia gets the cut down low off of turn number 1. That might give him a run off of the corner if he can hold it. Bressi wiggling, jiggling, all sorts of squiggling. How do you like that? I'm keeping that one. If I can remember,
it was good, Corey.
If I can remember,
it just died a little.
if I can remember that, I'm keeping it.
Bressi getting real loose.
Oh my!
Just about wrecked.
Almost contact between Bressi and Begunia. Going down into turn number 3, Boulder running on the grip strip. Begunia almost missed the grip strip, fighting that race car. Both these guys are. Thomas Bressi gets a little bit of loose once again.
Bressi, oh my God, it's like it looks like he has a flat tire as much as he's going back and forth there. He's just all over the place, but Begunia is doing the same thing, so they're not really losing any time to each other.
Bressi running a little bit higher in turn 1. Begunia running lower down right on the rumble strip. Who will get the run out of number 1?
On board here with the number 7 of Begunia. You can watch him in his endeavor to try to get past Bressi here as we enter the tunnel turn. You can see him, he's loose on entry. Gets a good run through the center of the turn. They both wiggle off of exit. You can see, you could hear him shifting there down to 3rd in the tunnel turn as we go through 3. Down to 3rd again. You can see on the telemetry tracker right now. 130 miles an hour. Bressi power slide there off of 3. There's a wiggle, but Begunia couldn't take advantage. But oh, I speak too soon.
Bumper to bumper down the front straightaway, heading down into turn number 1. Who's going to take advantage of who? Bressi struggling to maintain control of his race car. Every time Bressi gets loose, Begunia gets a little bit loose himself. And now they're going to be side by side off the exit of turn number 1.
Dead even down the long pond straightaway. Who's going to get the run into turn number 2? It looks like Bressi's going to have a slight advantage.
Begunia's got the preferred line here.
Bressy's going to back off. Oh, Bressy's going to power in. Begunia's going to back off. They will stabilize in those positions. And another thing to note, we are about 23 or so laps into the run. The final set of pit stops should be approaching soon. But at this point, there's 24 laps to go. They're probably going to want to stretch it a couple more laps to be safe on fuel and tires.
And here comes Taryn, as well as Bressy and Begunia.
Oh, so I cut myself off there. Everyone's going to be pitting on the absolute early end of the window, it seems. Nobody wants to lose any time to each other on the fresh tires, so Taryn was out to a 5-second lead. We weren't focusing on him. He was out to his own little zip code there, but he was 5 seconds ahead of that battle we were watching.
Looks like a few drivers have already come down pit road before these guys, the 22 of Munsell and Tyler Hensley.
Nick Massey has taken over the lead again on this cycle of stops here as he's down the Long Pond straightaway in the number 48 machine, entering turn number 2.
Only 2 drivers. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Massey and Kenny, they have 10 less laps on their tires. Remember, they were the last to pit. So this is where we kind of ask ourselves, with what the strategy they're on by pitting really late and having the freshest tires at this point, how are they going to go about this? Because I don't know how it's going to work to their advantage.
Looks like Thomas Bressy lost a ton of time to Cole Begunia.
But yeah, right now Bressy is entering turn number 3 and Begunia is exiting turn number 3. And in between the two is now Justin Munsell.
Yeah, Justin Munsell was I believe the first one to pit.
It looks like most of these battles have settled out while pit stops are going on.
Cody, you want an interview? Cody? Mm-hmm. All right, what did I bring you up? We need something to talk about. So, hold on, I'll drag.
Talk about my awful driving, which it wasn't me.
I'll drag you up. Just don't say anything till we cue you.
Okay.
We're gonna do a driver interview, something we don't get to do very often on Green Flag Race, but we're gonna bring into the booth driver and league owner Cody Tabor. Welcome, Cody.
Hey guys.
So we've been seeing these drivers all over the place tonight, and obviously struggling with the cars and the setup. What was it like in your time out there tonight?
It was fun for what laps that we for the laps that we've ran. We got about 30 of them done, and I mean the car was just awful. We tested it at the beginning of the week, around Tuesday before we went to Road America, and the car seemed pretty good. But once we kind of move over to the race tonight, it just went haywire. So
what is kind of the worst part on the track for these guys? It seems like turn 3, everyone's just...
it seems like turn 3s, everybody's just... I think I was telling Thomas there, I said it's 1,000 wonders he hadn't wrecked that thing yet. But I've been watching the broadcasts, and him and Coles, who's been out there handful on the race car. I mean, it's 1,000 wonders that there hadn't been another caution.
Yeah, these drivers of who are left are doing a pretty good job, so just want to drag you in the booth real quick to get your take on the race. Thanks for talking to us, Cody.
Hey, we're getting us some bear bond. We'll go back out there and run some more laps here in a little bit.
All right, 10-4, brother.
All right.
You can see, obviously, as we heard from Cody, there's something happened that these guys weren't expecting. They said they tested and everything was a lot different than it was here today. So obviously race day conditions have changed. So a battle on their hands for these drivers in their cars today, but doing the best job they can. Right now, Massey's still yet to pit as we have 20 to go. He is 15 seconds up on Taryn, but remember, he has another stop. We'll go back to Shane Taryn entering turn number 1 now. Taryn has only a 3-second lead. It was 5 before the pit stops on Begunia. And then Justin Munsell has worked his way into the top 5, getting past Bresci on that cycle of stops.
Yeah, Justin Munsell is about 5 seconds ahead of Bresci. Bresci is really kind of starting to fall back now.
Still waiting for Nick Massey to head to pit road.
Massey about to put a lap down the number 10 of Robert Kenny. Actually, the other way around, excuse me. I believe it was Kenny getting his lap back.
Yes, it was. Kenny just made the pass.
Race summary thus far. We've completed 61 of the scheduled 80 laps on the board tonight. We've had 9 lead changes, only 1 caution for the 4 laps in the Dirty Air Studios 200 here for the Hardline Cup Series on PTRTV. If you have not liked and subscribed, please do so. Would much appreciate that as we try to grow and expand the channel. Every last bit helps. If you know anybody who is looking for new content to be shown and broadcasted, have them sent our way. PrimetimeRacingTV.com, PrimetimeRacing@gmail.com. Myself, Corey Silva, or Brandon Krutz will get back to you, and hopefully we can work with you.
Quick shout out to our channel sponsors, the guys who help us out all through our broadcasting company here. First up, Movement Fabrications, Nottingham's choice for custom signs, designs, repairs, and all things metal. Visit them online at airmovefabs.co.uk or find them on Facebook, Air Movement Fabrications. Also, Krutz Custom Graphics, custom racing shirts, hero cards, paint schemes, and much more. From local racers to big race teams, we've got your back. Based out of upstate New York, Krutz Custom Graphics is the motorsports design specialist. Also, iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. Custom graphics, coding, and theme design for iRacing's 2 main overlay systems, ATVO and IRTVO. If you're a broadcast company looking for custom overlays to make your channel shine, talk to Jason Allison with iBog, iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics.
And then again, bringing up what we talked about earlier with our Patreon, to help keep the prices low for our leagues, we need a little bit of help from the fans. Brandon, I'm not gonna lie, I forgot this. I don't have the spiel in front of me, but
do you want me to do it?
But donations start as low as $2. There are various tiers. There are rewards on the line. If you go up to $25, you can get a monthly paint scheme from Krutz Custom Graphics. If you can't do 25, even if you do 2, just anything does help. We will recognize you and appreciate every last dollar. So again, patreon.com/PTRTV.
So still waiting for Massey to come down into pit road.
Yeah, he's on lap 24 of his stint, so he should be coming down any lap. Looks like he might be coming down this time. Yep, here comes Massey to pit road. That will hand the lead over to the 38 of Shane Tarrant. Cole Begunia will be in second, but only 2.6 seconds behind Tarrant.
Yeah, so Begunia is indeed gaining a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. There are 16 more times around. Pull up lap times last time by. Last time around the circuit, 0.2 of a second faster was the 7. But that's not going to be enough, I don't believe, over 16 laps.
So these guys pretty much all spread out here now, and not really any battles out on the racetrack at all. Everyone, I believe, in a different spot on the racetrack right now, actually. Only about 9 cars left in the field right now. Well, there is 9 cars left in the field right now. Yeah, something that didn't bring out a yellow, obviously. So cars that are currently out of the race right now include Joshua Adams, Nick Olson, Ryan Hartz, Cody Tabor, Rusty Capel, Chuck Sweeting, and Casey Shue, all out of the race. Everyone that's on the track now is on the lead lap. That is 9 cars. That includes Shane Tarrant, your leader, then Cole Begunia, Justin Munchill, Thomas Bressie, Walker Thomas, Nick Massey, Tyler Hensley, Robert Kenny, Joel Holloway, and Joshua Adams is the first car out of the race.
I'm not too sure what happened.
Ouch, yeah, pretty good impact to the inside wall there. So yeah, 9 cars here left on track. Shane Tarrant holding a solid lead over Cole Begunia right now.
Cole Begunia is closing in though. He's got the lead down to just 2 seconds.
Last time by, Begunia had a 10th on Tarrant, so I mean it still is something, but I believe that it's going to have to be more than that if he's going to get there. But still 13 laps to go this time by.
Begunia was about 0.4 of a second quicker than last lap, about 4.5 tenths.
All right, so obviously, contrary to what I thought, I didn't think that he was going to be able to get there, but little do I know, lead down to 1 3/4 seconds. So Begunia is really taking some chunks out.
Down to 1.5 seconds right now. Looks like Begunia will get there, but will he be able to get around the 38 of Shane Tarrant? Lead is down to about 1 1/4 seconds right now.
What looked like a runaway win for the 38 may actually turn into the battle on his hands. As Evan said, about 1 1/4 seconds on the stopwatch last time by. Let's see what the difference was. It was a 1/2 second difference in the favor of the 7 machine.
Looks like Tarrant is getting really, really loose at the corners.
Begunia keeping a good hand on his race machine right now. Seems to be handling his car lots better than Tarrant is. Tarrant overshoots that corner big time, misses the grip strip there. That's going to hurt him as well.
That hurt Tarrant quite a bit. The lead is now down under 1 second.
Should anything happen to these guys under battle, if Begunia does get there, Munchill's back there in second, and about a 1/2 straightaway back from Munchill is Thomas Bressie.
Remember, Bressie was almost into the 2nd position earlier, lost a little bit of the handle on that 24, as seems everybody is clearly, but he has fallen back, as we said, to the 4th position. He will have 3 seconds to gain, but he has a 7-second buffer to the 5th position. Bressie power slides there on through the tunnel turn there, and still getting loose on exit. But as I was saying, 7 seconds back to the 5th place driver of Walker Thomas.
Lead down to just 0.7 of a second for Shane Tarrant.
Begunia, I'm actually very impressed in how fast Begunia closed in that gap, guys.
Last time by was 2/10 of a second. Give it to the 7 machine. As you can see, Tarrant all the way to the top right now. But I almost wonder if that was intentional, because he got a pretty good run, but he got loose off of turn 1.
Shane Tarrant got really loose at turn number 1.
Begunia hit the wall there.
Neither of them really lost too much momentum.
It looks like I think Begunia lost a couple tenths there. Yeah, he also got a little bit loose through turn 2 here, and here comes Tarrant getting loose off turn 1. I'm sorry, off of turn 2. I don't even know where we are on track right now.
Going down into turn number 3. And it looks like both of those guys pretty steady right now, holding good pace through that corner. See what happens on exit. Pocono with a solid run going down this front straightaway.
On board with the number 7, we'll see how much he is having to wheel that machine here as we head down the front straightaway. About 15 laps into this run, it's going to be a full tire stint. See, getting a little loose. 38 runs a little bit higher of a line there through turn 1. See, just bobbing and weaving there, almost, if not into the wall there, at the exit of 1. We go down the long pond straightaway. Go ahead, Evan.
Pocono is now kind of in the dirty air of Shane Tarrant, so I wonder if that's going to tighten his race car up just a little bit.
Tarrant very loose there, drove it all the way down the track, saving it off of the turn number 2. See, they both run the grip strip third lane in turn number 3. Down to third gear, really have to be easy on the throttle in third gear as you lose the grip off the strip there, and it looks like Tarrant actually got a little bit of an advantage off of 3 down the front straightaway.
8 laps to go. Shane Tarrant still leading by about 0.6 of a second. They've been kind of breaking even. Tarrant was actually a little bit quicker the last lap.
Yeah, the advantage the last time by was only about a 10th, but that was still a 10th that he did not lose. So we'll see if that trend continues this next time by, as there's only 8 laps to go here at the Pocono Raceway.
Down the long pond straightaway, going into turn number 2 here. This is where it's kind of iffy depending on who struggles out of this corner. We've seen both drivers do it so far. Pocono with a pretty good run out of that corner, now heading into turn number 3.
Pocono got a pretty good run through 1 and then turn 2. See if he can keep that up in turn number 3.
Tarrant almost overshot the grip strip once again that time. He manages to hang on, drifted up a little bit high. Now, I believe that gave a little bit more of an advantage to Pocono that time by as well.
One thing we are noticing is the dynamic track. I mean, there's not as many cars on track as usual, but with as many laps as they are running, we have gotten a lot of rubber down on the track, especially in turn 2. So that is not going to be helping the grip situation for these drivers.
So Shane Tarrant got through turn number 1 just a little bit better than Pocono did, and got a better run down the long front straightaway.
You can see all the rubber down there and all the bumps they are having to navigate through, especially through turn number 2, but both drivers ran a very smooth line there through 2. No incident or time exchange there, but it looks like Pocono drove it in a lot deeper there, trying to gain some time. Nice smooth line from Tarrant here as he tries to cut a little low off of 3 and maybe get a run. I don't think it worked. I think Pocono got a little bit of time on him there.
Pocono had a really nice turn 3 and gained some entering and a little bit off.
Lead down to less than half a second here at the Pocono Raceway Dirty Air Studios 200. There's 6 laps to go in the race. What looked like a walkaway victory for the 38 is going to have to turn into quite the battle and quite the driving to have to hold off that hungry number 7 machine, Cole Pocono, the points leader.
Tarrant gets a little bit loose once again, that time by Pocono, right in closing range of the 38 machine now.
Pocono a bit harder into turn number 2, quicker down to the rumble strip. Shane Tarrant getting a bit better run out of the corner.
Pocono hanging right in there with him, however, heading into turn number 3. Let's see if Pocono can hold the grip strip again with a little bit of harder of a drive.
As we say the saying, it's one thing to catch, one thing to pass. He is there, but now he has to find a way by, especially with the inside being very difficult to hold momentum. It's going to take a good bit of driving or a mistake for Cole Pocono to get by the 38.
5 laps to go. Cole Pocono right on the back bumper of Shane Tarrant. Can he get around him?
Whoa, Pocono on the downshift there, drifted through the entrance of 1. That cost him some time. Let's see if maybe the 38 gets loose off of 1. He did not. That's going to lose a 10th and a half, maybe 2 tenths for Pocono. He'll have to get that back now.
Yeah, looks like he lost about 2 tenths of a second. It hurt him also down Long Pond straightaway. He didn't quite have the momentum he wanted. Good run through turn number 2 though. Both drivers got on the rumble strip just a little bit.
Battle heating up. It's become more of a game of who can run the better lap here.
You can see Taryn, sorry, but Taryn taking a different approach there. He ran the bottom. Have not seen him do that in multiple laps, but it seems to have worked for him. He maintained that lane, but maintained the time, but let's see, Begunia will have a little bit more momentum down the straightaway, and maybe he may gain some of that back.
Shane Tarrant drifting a little bit high in turn number 1. That gave Cole Begunia a really good run through the center of turn 1 and out of turn number 1 as well.
As there's probably 3.5 laps left to go around Pocono Raceway, the battle for the lead is 0.3 of a second. Tarrant trying to hold off Begunia. He's most likely the faster driver, but he has to run 3 solid mistake-free laps and make a pass. Tarrant's going to have to hold him off, not make a mistake, not look in the mirror too much. Begunia with the dive there into turn 3, gets right to the back bumper. Can he hold it on exit?
Shane Tarrant getting a little bit loose out of turn number 3, but him and Begunia both stay pretty even. Begunia will have the draft end the long front straightaway though.
Heading down into turn number 1, 3 laps to go to this time by 38 machine drifts up a little bit high, as we've seen him do pretty much every time around here. Begunia with a good run off the bottom of turn number 1.
Begunia got a really good run out of turn number 1. He's going to go for the lead down the long pond straightaway, side by side.
They're going to be side by side going into turn number 2 here.
Tarrant drives it in aggressively up top. Begunia gets really loose. Off the rumble strip, Begunia gets loose. He's able to hold it. He will lose the run he had. That was the best chance he's had thus far, but he's not done. He got a run off of 2. What will he do in turn 3?
There was almost contact made out of turn number 2, and Begunia getting loose. These guys running smooth lines through turn 3 so far. Let's see who gets better on exit. Tarrant gets a little bit loose. Begunia has a little bit of momentum going down the front straightaway with the draft.
Here he comes. He's about 2 to 3 miles an hour faster. He's getting the run. He'll close right back to the bumper in 1. Not close enough to make a move. But this is the most difficult turn in the track to not get loose. And there goes Begunia, a little bit of a wiggle. Tarrant seems to be running a pretty smooth line as we get through exit. There's Tarrant getting a little bobble here down the long pond straightaway. They come.
They had the popsicle sticks that time by. This was 2 to go.
Tarrant got a really good run out of turn number 1 down the long pond straightaway into turn number 2. Cole Begunia driving in real deep.
Begunia needs to take a deep breath and not make a mistake. If he's gonna get it, he cannot get it by overdriving the car. But he's only gonna have 2.5 more miles around Pocono Raceway as we come through turns 3 and 4. Well, turn 3 for the penultimate time. Shane Tarrant just has to hold off for 3 more corners around Pocono Raceway.
Coming down the front straightaway, and white flag is being displayed this time by. It's a battle to the end. 2.5 miles left to go.
Everything looks decent thus far for Shane Tarrant in his endeavor to win the race, but he drifted up the track quite a bit, but it looks like Begunia followed him in the process. Let's see if they can get off turn number 1. They've gotten loose various times. Big wiggle from the 7.
Cole Begunia got really loose down out of turn number 1, and that really hurt him down the long pond straightaway. Shane Tarrant is pulling away going into turn number 2.
See if you can do anything out of turn number 2 here. Maybe waiting for Tarrant to make a mistake here.
A big wiggle there from the 7 off of turn number 2. That'll pretty much seal the deal for the number 38. If he can just get around turns number 3 for one more time, and he will run the low line, the safe line off of turn number 3 successfully as we come onto the front straightaway. Give the victory to the number 38 machine. Shane Tarrant wins the Dirty Air Studios 200.
Tarrant pretty much dominated this whole race here tonight. Had a little bit of company there at the end from the 7 machine of Cole Begunia, and what a battle that was. So as we congratulate the 38 machine on his victory here tonight, we'll be back right after this quick commercial break for the post-race show.
When I was 16 years old, I was working in a Goodyear tire store, and my boss actually built an old dirt car, street stock Monte Carlo. Went with him one night, fell in love with it. It was a hell of a race, hell of a party, and a big fight afterwards. I was like, this is it. This is it for me. It wasn't long after that, I was driving an old 78 Camaro out of the weeds at that guy's farm. We pulled that thing out and made a race car out of it, and away we went. You know, I think a driver has more to do with the equation going back and racing dirt, whether it's a modified, a late model. You can.
And we're back here on PTRTV for the post-race show. We will bring you your top 3 finishers after what turned out to be quite the finish between the number 7 machine and the 38. But in the 3rd position tonight was actually Justin Munsell in the 22, and Evan will talk to him.
Justin Munsell finishing in the 3rd position. What are your thoughts after this race?
It was a long one. It was definitely a battle of attrition. Having to go on all these long green flag runs and having enough fuel to save it to the end.
Yeah, it looked like everyone was slipping and sliding out there. How was the car driving?
I actually enjoyed it. I didn't quite get the track at first in practice, and it kind of showed in qualifying and early in the race. I was missing the point on during the tunnel turn quite a bit, but after the first caution, I was able to kind of get the line again, and I actually gained some speed, and I was able to move up pretty quick up the field through green flag pit stops.
Yeah, talking about green flag pit stops, did you have your strategy kind of figured out going into the race, or was that just kind of an on-the-fly thing?
It was definitely on the fly. I've gone through the trouble of trying to figure out pit strategies before, and it usually just backfires. So I was just going to play it by ear, and after that first caution, I was just kind of like, well, whatever the leader does, I'm going to do the next lap. So Shane pit, whenever he did, and then I pit the next lap, and I just kind of figured out my strategy from there.
Going into this race, did you think you would have a shot at the win or not?
I mean, there's always a shot. Like I've had speed here before, but I haven't got these 8 cars down like I do the other cars. So it would have been tough. It would have definitely had to been on strategy if I was going to win this.
All right, is there anyone you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
I'd like to thank Cody Tabor for the league. This league has come so far since the last time, or since I started driving in it. A lot of the drivers have really gotten better, and I enjoy racing in it now. So I mean, props to him. Props to you guys. You guys are a fantastic broadcast team. I enjoy listening to your guys' broadcasts all the time. So props to you.
All right, thank you for that, and thanks for talking with us, and congrats on your finish.
Thank you.
And now Corey will talk to 2nd place finisher Cole Begunia.
Cole Begunia, you gave it your all tonight, and you were very nearly there for a chance at the win. Talk about how that last run and that last battle phased out for you.
I exited pits about 4 seconds behind Shane, and I figured I'm just going to go as hard as I can, and I'm probably going to just burn my tires like the previous run and fall back at the end, but I had to go. And about the 3rd lap after that run, I gained like a half a second in the tunnel turn. I just nailed it for like 3 straight laps and gained just about a second and a half in just 3 laps, and I was like, all right, I got a chance. So I just kept, I have never drove so hard in my life trying to get that win. I mean, Shane rarely makes mistakes, and he's one of the best, if not the best person I've ever raced against on iRacing. And I knew it was going to be tough. I just gave it my all. It came up a little bit short, but I got to be proud of that run.
Yeah, it kind of gave me personal shades of Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson at Atlanta there, the way everyone was just all over the place. We know you guys were struggling with the setup. What was the biggest challenge for you with how the car drove tonight?
The biggest challenge for me was just turn 3. I personally didn't have a problem with the way the car drove. I thought it was a ton of fun. I love this new tire model that iRacing put in, this new package for the Cup cars. It was a ton of fun. Just turn 3, just Shane was about a 1/10 of a second, half 10th of a second better than me all night and through. And that's, I think, ultimately where I lost the race, was turn 3.
You gave it your all. You hung on to it, which surprised all of us with how everyone was getting sideways. You finished second, and looks like you lose a couple points in the standings as your rival, the 38, finished ahead of you. But anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Just shout out to Cody and you guys for what you guys do, and shout out to Shane for the win. Me and him, I just got a feeling we're gonna have a good battle in the chase for the championship.
And we'll look forward to covering it here in the booth. So again, congrats on your finish, and thanks for talking to us.
Yep.
And now your winner will be interviewed by no one else than Brandon Krutz.
Down here with Shane Taryn, the winner of the Dirty Air Studios 200 here at Pocono. Shane, it was a tough race all night, I'm sure, and we know a lot of guys are struggling with the handling of their race car and the racetrack. What was your opinion of this race, and how did you keep control of your car all night?
I love this race. I love the setup. I love the tire model, the aero package they got in this A car. It's great. I know a lot of people probably disagree after you know, seeing how loose it was, but it's really good because the tire model makes it basically how you drive your cars, how your tires are gonna wear, and it works out through the race. And I'm so happy with how iRacing's dealing with this A car. Yeah, I don't even know how I was able to save the car, but I have to give it to the tires on this one, because if it was the older tire model, I'm pretty sure I would have crashed like 4 or 5 times.
Well, yeah, you hung onto the car, and you had a very dominant lead for most of this thing, and you had a little bit of company by Cole Bagunia there at the end of that thing. Do you think that you had this thing in the bag, or did you realize that you were going to have to fight for it?
Well, I started saving fuel, because you never know with these fuel gauges in iRacing, where like it'll say 2 laps to the good with like 20 laps to go, then it will drop suddenly towards the end. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep saving, and Cole was catching me by like 4 seconds, and I was like, there's no way that he has enough fuel. And I keyed up on the mic, I'm like, can you make it? I'm like, there's no way you can make it. And he said he could make it, and I was like, oh, well crap. So I ended up just going, and I started shifting again, and I was able to hold him off. So I'm glad that he raced me cleanly. I know a couple other guys probably would have put the bumper to me, but I gotta give it to him for racing me cleanly, and I held on to it.
Absolutely, and a hell of a race that you put on here tonight. And is there anyone that you'd like to thank or give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'm gonna give a thank to you guys broadcasting. I had it on in the background. You guys do a great job. Cody for the league. I want to thank my team, Rubbins Racing. You got Josh and Jake and Nick and Walker. I also want to give a shout out to Justin Munsell and Robert Kenny. They're good friends of mine, and they always put on a good show, and I'm happy that Justin's getting the good finishes that he deserves.
There you have it, folks. The winner tonight at Pocono Raceway of the Dirty Air Studios 200 here live on PTRTV, Shane Taryn.
All right, so that's your top 3 interviews. Let's wrap up coverage tonight. Let's give you your final rundown of results here tonight at the Pocono Raceway. Again, with the victory, as we just spoke to, was the number 38 machine of Shane Taryn, Cole Bagunia in the 2nd position. Then we had Justin Munsell, Nick Massey, Walker Thomas, Thomas Bresci, Tyler Hensley, Robert Kenny, Joel Holloway, and Josh Adams, the top 10.
Nick Olson in 11th, Cody Tabor in 12th, Ryan Hartz in 13th, Rusty Capel in 14th, and then Chuck Sweeting and Casey Shute rounding out the field in 16th.
So, quick shout out to our sponsors once again here on the channel. Air Movement Fabrications, Nottingham's choice for custom signs, designs, repairs, and all things metal. Visit them online at airmovefabs.co.uk or find them on Facebook. That's Air Movement Fabrications. Also, Krutz Custom Graphics, custom racing shirts, hero cards, paint schemes, and much more. From local racers to big race teams, we've got your back. Based out of upstate New York, Krutz Custom Graphics is the motorsports design specialist. Also, iBog, iRacing broadcast overlay graphics, custom graphics, coding, and theme design for iRacing 2 main overlay systems, ATVO and IRTVO. If you're a broadcast company looking for custom overlays to make your channel shine, talk to Jason Allison at iBog, iRacing broadcast overlay graphics. And also, check out our Patreon to keep our broadcast quality high and costs for the league owners low. We need a little bit of help from the fans. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/PTRTV. If you become a Patreon, you will get rewards that vary depending on how much you donate. Become a Patreon once again at patreon.com/PTRTV.
That's another broadcast here on PTRTV. We brought you the Dirty Air Studios 200 and a thriller of a finish. Shane Tarrant managed to hold off just barely over Cole Begunia. It's going to be a little bit of a lapse in broadcast with Hardline with the Christmas holiday coming up. We're not going to have the coverage for you for another couple of weeks, so stay tuned. We'll be bringing you the holiday classic for the upper edge super late models at Martinsville. Stay tuned on Thursday for that. Cyber Association always on Mondays. Signing out of the booth tonight is Corey Silva, Evan Black, and Brandon Krutz. Thanks for watching. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good night.
Catch you next time.